Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi amma ba'du. Honorable moderator and the committee and also the Center for Research and Development of Islamic Education and our guest from America, Professor Chandra Cahyadi. In hope has already come here, Miss Farah Dina Yusuf, we hope she has come. And all participants, ladies and gentlemen, firstly, I would like to say thank you very much for this occasion. I'm able to participate in this international webinar. And I think we have learned and we have listened from two speakers before, Prof. Mujibur Rahman and Prof. Chandra Cahyadi, who have taught us and informed us much information, much data about how COVID-19 affects the students and people in general all over the world. Let me, moderator, I want to show you my presentation, and I want to open my file.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, as I mentioned before that what the speakers before talk about COVID-19, Prof. Mujibur Rahman and also Prof. Chandra Cahyadi actually have a close relationship with what I want to talk about. So I try to take some time from this seminar, that is the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic on Indonesia in education. Okay, let me show you some brief presentation relating to pictures. Okay, yes, this is the situation where, especially in the green zone area, they can conduct the education process, in the classroom, but still keeping the distance between one student and another. If we look at the pesantren, for example, now they are studying in Pondok Pesantren, but they have to keep the distance from one in each other. Okay, this is the activity of the teacher who does door-to-door activity during COVID-19 pandemic. And this is very sorry because the class is empty, no teachers, no students, of course no parents coming to the school because of the pandemic of COVID-19. This is a teacher who teach the student by virtual media, by using internet. And this is, the Wi-Fi internet infrastructure where some or many schools today, maybe many houses try to provide Wi-Fi or internet media. And the last one, the situation where the students learn by virtual media, and beside him is his mother. Okay. Now, I tried to connect this speech with the term provided by the committee. This is a very big question. As the director said, that this is the very big question and important to answer. Would we lose a generation of education due to COVID-19? So we have to be aware of this question. If we can't answer, we might be lost. Yeah. If we can answer, we may not be lost or can save our generation from COVID-19. This is a big question. So I want to tell you some quotation. Yeah, some quotation. One is from UNESCO. UNESCO stated that on April 2020, 1.6 billion students were free or closed from school and universities just to prevent, COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, these numbers are considered 90% of total students in the world. So this is very serious, very, very serious. And also, Inger Ashing, this is the CEO of Save the Children, yeah, on 13th of July 2020, stated that Corona has caused education emergency, which has not happened before, where 9.7 million children affected by closing their schools, have risk of permanent dropout from the schools. Okay. Also, this is very serious problem. Yeah. 9.7 million children affected by closing their schools, maybe from March to July or up to present, yeah, have risk of permanent dropout from the school. And also, she added the statement that is, this is the first time in human history the education of one children generation all over the world are disturbed. Okay, and also this is a big problem for us. And let's see what the statement of Minister of Education and Culture, especially when we look at the news on 4th of August 2020. The number is 68 million students in Indonesia are affected by COVID-19 in Indonesia. It is about 5.44% of total students in the world, around 1.25 billion. They all have to learn from home. And from those numbers, 6.87 million, or about 10%, are students of PAUD, early childhood education programs. Up to present, they still learn from home. And it's now also that students of elementary school and also SMP, SMA, some of them still learn from home. And they say also 13 million people today now become teachers, become educators at home. Okay. Now, the question is, what are the particular problems, the particular impacts of COVID-19 pandemic on education in Indonesia? Yeah. I have read from some articles, at least 4 aspects that we have to consider. One is relating to teaching and learning process, and the second one is relating to the student loss and the evaluation process, and the third one is relating to the parents. Now I'm going to talk about the first impact of COVID-19, that is teaching and learning process, where schools, teachers, and students are involved. Normally, or in normal situation, we know that schools are the best places to improve knowledge, to improve student skill, and also attitude of the students. And schools are also interesting places where the students and teachers can communicate and interact one another. School also can improve social skill and social awareness of the student. And school are good media for interaction between student and teachers. This is in normal situation relating to teaching and learning process. Now the question is, how is today? What is happening today? Schools in general have to conduct long distance education. Everywhere we see, the schools have to conduct long distance education. The problems then are, I try to list some problems, yeah, happening when we conduct long distance education. The first one is the limitation of mastering information technology by the teachers and students. This is the biggest problem, according to my opinion, in terms of teaching in learning process. As we know, not all teachers understand and have ability to use technology, especially for the old teachers. Maybe the teachers who were born before 1980s. Like myself, I was born in 1966. I'm not capable of using technology. So not all teachers understand and have ability to use technology. What else? The teachers who live in the village where no access internet for them. This is the problem number one in relation to limitation of mastering information technology by the teachers and students. And at the same time, the students, particularly who live in remote areas, in kampung-kampung, in the village, have no understanding and ability to use technology, such as computer and media. And even maybe there is no internet infrastructure in their home country or in their village. This is also the big problem for us. And the second one is relating to the process of teaching and learning. We also see the inadequate infrastructure. Yeah. In general, school in Indonesia are lack of supporting tools for information technology, such as computer. You know, if we go to the village in remote areas, in madrasa, in pesantren or Islamic boarding school, they are lack of supporting tools, information technology, such as computer. And the second one is students in the community in large, what I said before, in this occasion, have no capability to have such tools or media. Yeah, maybe they have no money to provide computer, to buy computer, and to provide internet media. And the last one, of course, yeah, this makes students have less motivation to join virtual teaching and learning process, yeah, because of that limitation. Okay, and G is limitation of internet access. As we mentioned before, that internet access in Indonesia is still developed. Yeah, not all schools, not all pesantrens are able to use and enjoy internet because of limited access. As we know, that Indonesia consists of thousands of islands where it is very, very difficult to provide internet access in all areas, in all regions, in all districts of Indonesia. Okay. And now we see also, yeah, from our experience, theoretical aspect orientation. Online teaching and learning process tends to deliver theoretical aspect rather than the practical ones. So, yeah, this practice actually makes the students slow in accepting the subject matter and also potential to be bored. So the process is boring, makes the student bored. Why? Because there is no practice during the teaching and learning process by virtual media. And the last one relating to this, limitation of school budgets. Yeah. Before we heard from Mr. Chandra in America, there is cutting of budget also in America and also in Indonesia. This is a dilemmatic situation where schools encourage, push the students to learn virtually, but at the same time, the schools do not have enough budget to buy internet quota for the students. This is also terrible for our education. Now, the second impact of this COVID-19 is students' loss in the evaluation process. It's experience that during the COVID-19, the evaluation tends to be not maximal. Yeah, tends to be not maximal. Internal evaluation for schools, yeah, may be considered less urgent, but for the students and their family, information about this evaluation is very important. Yeah. There's an assumption that when the information of student achievement is a result of learning evaluation is not given to the student or their family, then it will become serious problem for the future. Why? They don't know exactly, for example, what skills, what knowledge, or what attitude that have been mastered by their student at school. You know, yes, you know that there was no UN, yeah, during COVID-19. This is also a problem for us. Yeah. They don't know exactly what they have already got from their teachers at school. Okay, the third aspect of the empathy here is parents. Yeah, we are parents. All of us here are parents. The problem faced by parents is added budget for internet quota for their children. Yeah. So in this situation, the spending of parents or family highly increases. If we earn, for example, 3 million each month, it is enough for normal situation, but when COVID-19 comes, it is not enough. Why? Because the students or our children ask the money for buying the internet quota. Spending of parents actually increases. Number two, parents also have no ability and capability to use information technology. Okay, it is also a big problem in our education when we conduct the long distance education. And the third one is parents have to provide their extra time to be with their students, to be with their children during online learning process at home. Yes, we know that some of us, for example, work outside the house, yeah, in the office, but at the same time they have to provide their extra time to be with their children at home. Okay. What I have talked about is related to negative impact. Yeah, we also have to realize that there are some positive impact. Yeah, beside the negative ones. I tried to list some of them. Yeah, we have also to realize this positive impact. One is supporting the acceleration of education transformation. Okay. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, the government has to conduct long-distance education system. Yeah. Number two, this pushes schools, universities, teachers, students, and parents to be competent in technology. So this also make accelerated education in our country. In the third one, using technology in education actually is in line with industrial revolution 4.0. This is the positive impact of COVID-19 relating to supporting the acceleration of education transformation. And two, according to my opinion, many online learning application appear. Yeah. This application appears to support long-distance education, such as e-study, teacher room, learning house, Google Classroom. Yeah, we also, for example, use Zoom and LMS, Learning Management System, and so on. So during COVID-19, we know and we try to use this application. This is the positive impact of COVID-19. And the third one is many free online courses, seminars, and conference offered. These programs are provided by certain institutions, such as campus, schools, courses, blah, blah, blah. As we know that now we are in seminars, which is free. Yeah. After this, we will get some maybe certificates, which is free. This is the impact of COVID-19 seminars. Yeah. We have actually a photo, but I can show you here. There is someone bringing a big bag, yeah, a big bag, which inside there are many certificates. This is the impact of COVID-19. Yeah. So every seminars he follows, every conference he follows, then he get certificate. This is also one the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. And the last one relating to collaboration between teachers and parents. Yeah. During COVID-19 pandemic, the students learn from home and spend their time at home. This requires innovative collaboration between teachers and parents. They both work together in educating their student. This situation actually has not happened before, but today we are doing this. We are doing this collaboration between teachers and parents at home. Ladies and gentlemen, now what we have do today. I try to give you some strategies and also alternative solution that can be considered, yeah, for our future, especially in terms of education today and in the future. Here I give some strategies and solution. First is what has the government do? Yeah, the government has to produce and develop education policy that support the continuity and also equality of education, such as reallocating school budget, providing infrastructure of information technology at schools, and also building infrastructures in all areas all over Indonesia. Yeah. If we can do this, I believe we can save our children. And the last one, the government has to monitor, has to evaluate the implementation of long-distance education during COVID-19 pandemic. So day to day, month to month, we have to monitor and we have to evaluate. The government has to take action in the situation. What about schools? What should the schools do? One is be ready. Be ready, yeah, because we are facing the situation. Be ready in facilitating any changes concerning with student education. Maybe curriculum, maybe teaching methodology, maybe teaching environment, yeah, school budgets, and so on. So any change concerning with education must be faced and must be planned. Number two, I still believe attitude education as well as behavior education, especially ethics or akhlaq, must be strong basis for the students in the middle of technological development and information acceleration. So we do not have, we have to be care of this. Yeah, it's the result of learning process. Three domain, yeah, beside knowledge. Also, we have to concern with ethics, akhlaq, attitude, and behavior. And number three, the school, yeah, we have to collaboration between schools, teachers, and parents should be developed to make sure that the student education or the student are well educated. Perhaps we can provide like the what we call connecting book between teachers and parents, where the teachers can read the activity of student at home, and at the same time, the parents can read the activity uh, during their activities at home by connecting book. We can say buku penghubung, ya, buku penghubung. Okay, what about teachers? What should the teachers do? Yeah. Number one, I put this in number one. The teachers have to master information technology. And this is a must. Yeah. This is a must. This is the only way to provide good education for the student. They have to master information technology using internet, yeah, using Google, using application of the teaching learning process, blah, 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 blah. So this is, I put in number one, mastering information technology. And number two, beside teaching via virtual media, if possible, the teachers are suggested to do door-to-door activity. Of course, with health protocol of COVID-19. Why? Because they will know exactly what the student do, how the student behave. And also don't forget that the student miss their teachers. Yeah. A long time ago, I saw the video. One child cried, yeah, because she was missing her teachers. Yeah. They need to face their teachers. They need to be together with the teachers. So if possible, I suggest the teachers good to do door-to-door activity. And number three, I still want to emphasize this. Focus on student mastery, on knowledge, attitude, and skills. Yeah, because there are three components interconnected. Yeah, and number four, redesign their teaching preparation suitable with the situation of COVID-19 pandemic. So it is not similar with the preparation before. We have to redesign relating to the goals, for example, or to teaching method or to teaching media. Now, for the parent, we are parents here. Most of us are parents here. Number one, according to my opinion, the parents have to realize that their children education is part of their duty and their responsibility. Yeah. Maybe before COVID-19, we give our student, our children to school, to teach us, to educate them. Yeah. We forget that the education of our children is our duty, is our responsibility. So this COVID-19 maybe warm us, yeah, make us realize that we have to know that the children education is part of our duty and our responsibility. Number two, is the main educators or teachers at home, parents have to conduct this main function effectively, including making collaboration between teachers and parents, and also providing internet quota or media. They have to provide quota or media. This is the way of long distance education process. And the last one, step by step, parents have to learn pedagogy and other related knowledge, such as psychology or guidance and counseling, and so on. So, parent one day to day, step by step, have to learn this all knowledge, pedagogy and other related knowledge. Now, I want to draw my conclusion. Number one, I think be optimistic in facing COVID-19 pandemic. Everything will end in time. We have to provide our effort. We have to pray and also we have to tawakkal Allah, to give this all problems to Allah. So be optimistic in facing COVID-19 pandemic. Number two, collaboration between schools, teachers, and parents must be made as good as possible. Yeah, must be made as good as possible. No other choice. We have to do this. And the third one is the government, at the same time, has to monitor the real situation of the effectiveness of long distance education. And the last one, it is our doa to Allah. May our children be safe from corona disease and not become lost generation in the future. I think that's all what I can share with you this morning. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for your valuable information, Dr. Husnul Yakin, MED. In his presentation, he pinpoints that we should be optimistic in facing COVID-19 pandemic because everything will end in time. Then the collaboration between schools, teachers, and parents must be made as close as possible. Furthermore, the government has to monitor the real situation of the effectiveness of long-distance education. Before we are going to Q&A session, we would like to pass to the last presenter, Dr. Farahdina binti Yusuf. Hello, Dr. Farah. Are you with me? Are you with us in this webinar? Dr. Farah? Halo, Dr. Farah. Okay. Dr. Farah, we are really sorry for switching your time presentation. Perhaps this is because of connection delay, so we cannot find you. And this is your time to present. But before the presentation from Dr. Farah, I would like to read a short biography. She is an associate professor at the Department of Curriculum and Instructional Technology, Faculty of Education, University of Malaya. Dr. Farah is currently the director of UM's Academic Enhancement and Leadership Development Center. She holds a PhD in two fields, curriculum and instructional technology and human-computer interaction from Iowa State University, USA. She has recently been awarded an international award, the Outstanding Woman in Humanities and Social Sciences 2018 by Venus International Foundation, and she was also the third runner of Anugerah Khas Menteri Pendidikan Malaysia, Reka Bentuk Kurikulum dan Penyampaian Inovatif atau AKRI in 2018. Dr. Farah has wide experiences in the area of teaching and training, both locally and internationally, in the area of educational technology and instructional design. That's why she is especially known for her civic-minded instructional designer, or CMID, conceptual framework, which has reframed current ways of educating professionals for the purpose of improving public life. In this webinar, Dr. Farah will share with us the ideas dealing with how should be education during COVID-19 pandemic so we are not lost a generation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Faradina binti Yusuf.
Assalamualaikum, and very good morning, everyone.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm sorry, Dr. Husnul, did I cut your session?
Yes, that's okay. No problem.
Thank you. I have joined two speakers, and I would like to thank everyone. First, thank you to Dr. Eko Wahyu, who has invited me to be in this seminar. And also thank you to the moderator, Dr. Afifa Lindasari, and the other two speakers who I have enjoyed their lecture and also their presentations, Dr. Chandra Cahyadi and Dr. Husnul Yakin, my colleagues at UIN Antasari, and all participants of this international webinar. Can I share my screen, Ms. Moderator? Yes?
Please.
All right. Is my screen online?
Yes, we can look at your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. So I am Associate Professor Dr. Faradina Yusuf. I am currently the Director of the Academic Enhancement and Leadership Development Center at University of Malaya. And also I'm actually a faculty member of the Faculty of Education, University of Malaya. Before I start my presentation, I actually would like to thank everyone, and especially the organizer, who has allowed me to virtually travel to your country during this pandemic, COVID-19. When I first got this invitation, I'm like, okay, I should know where the UIN Antasari is. So I'm looking at the Google Maps, and I saw that, oh, it took about 8 hours for me from Kuala Lumpur to your university if I would be traveling, in person. But Alhamdulillah, because of the COVID-19, we are all online, and I can now travel to Indonesia during this, even though of this quarantine. So I would like to start my presentation by first looking at the situation that we are having now. We know that COVID-19 has changed the world's landscape. If you look at the slides, you can see that a lot of suffering, a lot of pain that we are looking at. Some people have lost their lives, some have lost their family members. And also, we know that the impact on economy is very bad. Some are unemployed, and some people having problems with digital divide. And also at some other parts of the world where their socio-economic status is not so good, they are also having such a bad time. Okay? Oh. However, may I invite all of you to look at the bright side of this pandemic 19. I'm not meaning to say that let's forget those who are suffering, but I think that let's look at the opportunities that we have now. So if we look at this bright side, okay, I have to minimize the screen. Yeah. So we know that because of the COVID-19, we are now able to work online, working from home. This is what at Malaysia we are doing right now. So parents don't have to leave their kids or their family, but they can work at home with their kids and their families. So I think that's a good side of it. And also, teachers now don't have to go to school to teach, but they can now participate in online learning, or they can have, like you are doing now, virtual conference. I think that's also a good thing. And if you look at the very left side of the slide, you can see that um, we have homeschooling going on, where maybe in the past, before COVID-19, some parents are not really aware of what their kids are learning. But because of the pandemic, we are all at home. We can now look at and oversee what the kids are doing. Okay, so homeschooling is now becoming a trend. And this is what I think the two speakers have talked about, online teaching and learning. This pandemic has also created a new trend or new phenomena. It's not really new, actually. It has been here like a few years, but it doesn't really take its or not really being highlighted until this COVID-19 pandemic. And this is about learning everywhere, anywhere, at any time. Now, what I'm trying to say is that we can work this out together, and we can also make a difference, not really to ourselves, but also to our country, to our village, to our friends, our family, and so on. I just wanted to share with you, perhaps all of you have known this story of Viviana. She is a Malaysian student studying at one of the university in Malaysia, who have she has done some YouTube videos about how she managed to do online learning on the tree. So this is a very viral story. At some point, can look at the date, is 26th of June 2020, so it's quite recent. And because of her videos, and it has captured a lot of attentions, especially internationally, she has also contributed to change the landscape of her village. Now, she not only received some computer assistance, her village also benefited from the internet that because of her case. So there is some hope. Okay, we should not be looking at only the negative side. However, to make a difference within this very limited technological situation that we are doing now, I think it is time for us to work together with many, many different agencies or industry. Okay, if you look at the screen, I'm talking about, first of all, higher education cannot just stand alone. We can provide some platform to share the knowledge, but we need support, especially from the industry. Industry has a lot of funding, especially telecommunication agencies or companies. They may be able to give some fund to help with the internet and Wi-Fi, for example. And the government can also do some kind of governance to to oversee the quality of teaching and learning that is taking place. And with the community, we need to be together, working together, so that we can combat this pandemic together. But I'm only speaking for the higher education sector in this presentation. Yeah. So this is my suggestions for us to combat the COVID-19 for the purpose of education, so no one is left behind. From my experience being the director of the center that is supposed to be training educators or lecturers in the university, I think there are three important aspects that the university need to consider. And this is also three aspects that, for example, government agencies, industry, if they want to help us with this, these are the three things that they can help with. First of all, it is a infra and infrastructure, and this means some hardware and software that we can invest on to make sure that online learning take place. So I'll be talking about the need for e-learning platform, the need for devices, PC and phone, and also internet. Second, and this has been highlighted by, I think, Dr. Chandra and also Dr. Husnul, professional development, meaning that building the people, not just the hardware, we need to build the people. And I see that there are three main important people that we can build the capacities within, which is the first one, lecturers, second, the students, and also not to forget the support staffs. Yeah, I'll be talking about that too. And third, this is about administration, where I think good governance is very important. And this I will be talking about the role of e-learning center, the ICT center, and the quality assurance center at the university. Now let's go to point number one, okay, or aspect number one, which is infra and infrastructure. I think that to make sure that we can do good online teaching and learning, we need also to be ready with the appropriate infra and infrastructure. First, we need to have a good e-learning platform, or we know this by the name LMS, or Learning Management System. I believe in your university as well, you have this learning management system. In our University Malaya, we use Moodle, which we have been modified a bit, and we call it Spectrum. Okay, and this e-learning platform, or LMS, will function as a one-stop center for all people involved in the teaching and learning process, which is especially the teachers or the educators, and second, the students. Okay, so apart from that Moodle, there are other platforms, and you know this, I'm just highlighting it. Canvas, for example, Schoology, Blackboard, and also the most popular one, I think right now, is Google Classroom. So these are the technologies that we can use, and some of it are free. It is open source, so you don't have to pay. We can look at this due to this, economic condition not so good. Maybe we want to try it out. So what can we do with our learning management system? Okay, a lot of things can be put in one place, make it easy for students to access it. For example, they can access the list of courses, the announcements from the teachers or the universities. They can organize their own learning calendar in that learning management system. Also, a learning management system will allow them to access all the course files, for example, the course syllabus, the teaching plans, notes, etc. So it can also help with the communication between all parties involved through the forum and chat feature. The students can also submit their assignments online, and thus we reduce the use of print-based materials or any postage related costs if it can be supported online. So the students also can know the progress, okay, every time they submit the assignment, because in the learning management system, there is grading or scoring feature that the teachers can use. I think once the students submit the assignment, the teachers can grade it online, and the students can see, this is where I am now, and I have to do some things to make sure that I am better in future. So I think it is important to invest in good learning management system. Second, we also need to make sure that everyone have the tools to access to the system, okay, or to the knowledge platform. So we may not be able to have PC for everyone or laptops, but at least I believe we have a mobile phone. Okay, so teachers and educators, think about ways that you can use your mobile phone and students' mobile phones to transfer or to do interactive sessions there. Okay. Next, it is very important, okay, to have internet coverage. Okay, some of the experiences that I have been involved in, I've seen that students have very low internet coverage and also internet bandwidth and internet connection. So this will hamper the learning process, okay? And I would suggest that once, if we can think about ways to make sure that every students have access to internet, it will be better. For example, in Malaysia, we have support from our government during the MCO period. All Malaysians have a free 1 gigabyte of internet supported by the government from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. These are peak hours, and it's very important, and it has assisted the learning process. Yeah. Now, at University Malaya, the university top management has also have partnership or some sort of deal with the telecommunication company. And if you look at the screen now, this is Celcom, one of the biggest telecom company in Malaysia. So Celcom has come up with what they call Celcom Data Plan package for university students, where the students pay only 50 ringgit and they can get up to 30 gigabyte of internet quota monthly. Okay, but it's not paid by the students actually. The universities have made kind of purchase this from the telecom company, and then any access or any additional charges, I mean beyond the 50 ringgit per month, the students will have to top up. Okay, I think it's a good way that the university and industry can support one another. Now, moving to the second aspect, building the people, okay, building the capacities, knowledge, and skills of the people, as what have been shared by our two presenters. I think that there are three important people that we need to develop their professionalism or their capacities. Of course, first is the lecturers or the educators at higher education. So we have been, I mean, from my experience as the director of a teaching and learning center, we have been doing and also promoting online teaching and learning, blended learning, and it's not something new to our faculty members. However, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, everybody has come into like a rush that I need to know this more. So they have invested time to attend to this, and also within a very short period of time, they have to kind of transform or transfer all their face-to-face teaching and learning into online teaching and learning within a short period of time. This is what we call emergency remote teaching, and this is, I think, a new term in education right now, ERT, emergency remote teaching. Okay, if you Google the term ERT, you probably have some of the notes about it. And I think that because of the pandemic, people pedagogical approach, we are going back to online teaching and learning. Okay, so teachers need to be given a very good online teaching and learning trainings. Okay, the second people that we have to develop their capacities is actually the students. Okay, it's not because only the lecturers are involved. It is because of this two-way communication. The students have also need to be ready for the e-learning to take place. So they need to be taught or brief about what will happen during the process of teaching and learning. Okay, if you look at the slides, I am sharing with you 3 posters that we created, only targeting for the students. For example, the first one, we provide tips to be successful in online classes. Okay, because some students may be lost in the process, they don't know what to do. So this is some tips for them to be successful. And also, second poster, tips for participating in online discussion forums, because before the online teaching and learning situation, people may not really use the discussion forums a lot. So we need to give some ideas about how to participate in online forums. And also, not to mention good practices for students learning in synchronous environment. Because of the nature of the teaching and learning, we are actually using two types of learning. The first one is called synchronous learning, and second one is asynchronous learning. So synchronous learning, for example, using Google Meet and also Zoom, like what we are doing now. So students need to be briefed about what to expect during the synchronous environment, what they can do, what they can prepare, and so on. So that's two people that important. Another one that is sometimes forgotten is actually to train the support staffs. Okay, support staffs are people who actually help the students and the lecturers to make sure that the teaching and learning process is conducted smoothly. Okay, these are people, for example, lab technicians or computer lab technicians who are helping students with hardware, with their lab equipment, with the studio works, and also to do the using the machines. So because of the COVID-19 and in Malaysia, especially in my university, University Malaya, students will need to do lab-based classroom. They can come to the lab or to the studio, but with batches. Okay, so students need to take time, use the allotted time or in space to use it, and then after that they have to give it to other batch of students. Now, the final aspect that I think need to be considered is good governance. First of all, let me remove a bit. Okay, it is important for the e-learning center at each university to be ready. Okay, first to conduct trainings for the educators, and also to, if possible, to publish some guidelines or posters or whatever resources that you can do. And try to reach out to your stakeholders, especially the lecturers and students. Here at EDAC, what we do trainings for lecturers for e-learning. We have leadership training, research training, and not to mention also teaching and learning. I think the second important governance is regarding the ICT center. They need to be able to provide technical support. For example, in my university, University Malaya, we have this help desk where students or lecturers can just put in whatever complaints or whatever notes to the technical staffs and get help. Yeah, so they are also responsible to make sure that the system, for example, the learning management system, is up to date. For example, one of the things that happened last semester was some technical hiccups when lecturers want to do online examinations. So the team, the technical people at the ICT center needs to be ready, make sure the system is up to date, and also the software can accommodate the many people who are taking online exam. The third most important thing is, I think, the Quality Assurance Center, and I believe that each university have the Quality Assurance Center, like in University of Malaya. So even though learning takes place, we can say anywhere at any time, we can never compromise the quality of teaching and learning, right? So the Quality Assurance Center is responsible to make sure that everybody, the students and the lecturers, follow the guidelines of good teaching. For instance, we have come out with online teaching and learning guideline. This is a guideline what to do and how to do things online. For example, how do you plan your online lessons? How do you deliver your online lessons? And how to do the final examinations online. So this is the importance of the three centers in a university. All right. I just want to recap of what we're doing. I keep on saying about we, and you might be wondering what actually EDAC is doing at University Malaya. So there are three main important aspects that we are doing at EDAC as a e-learning center. First, we do academic staff development. If you look at the small picture on the right side, all lecturers in University Malaya has to go through 6 aspects of training. First, of course, teaching and learning. Second, training on research. Third, on supervision. Fourth, on leadership, e-learning, and also well-being. Okay, so that's our biggest role. So we also do innovation in teaching and learning, whereas we support the lecturers with special grant, teaching and learning grant, so that they can use the grant to to come up with new and innovative approaches to teaching and learning. Okay, we have recipients from non-education people, for example, from medical faculty, engineering, dentistry, pharmacies, who have involved in innovations in their teaching and learning. So that's a good thing to know. We also are responsible to look into conducive learning environment and create learning communities in the university. All right, just to share with you, there are some resources that we also provide online. Okay, because everything is now need to be reachable, accessible by everyone. Everything we do, including guidelines, books, almost everything, we put it online. Again, that's the good thing about technology, and allow us to do a lot of things. And this also includes seminars or webinars that we do. And also we select some of the YouTube videos and put it online so that the lecturers know where they can get this information. Yeah. In conclusion, I would like to invite all of us to look into the SWOT analysis, and we are very familiar with SWOT. But instead of analyzing the situation and feeling bad about it, I would like to share what I think we should think about, rethink about it. First, we should celebrate and enhance our strengths. Look at ourselves, look at our institutions, at our universities, our students and our lecturers. What are their strengths? Focus on that, celebrate it, and try to enhance the strengths. Okay? If we know that we have weakness, we can just recognize our limitations, but take advantage and to strategize toward the betterment. If we know threats, we try to minimize any threats that will tries to widen our learning, and take it as opportunities to learn beyond our geographical boundaries. For example, beyond our university, beyond the country. If I can have 1 minute, I also would like to suggest everyone to expand our learning horizon. I think this is what the two speakers have talked about. Instead of just focusing on the formal learning, like learning happens only in schools, we now have to think about informal and non-formal learning. So learning can happen everywhere, anywhere, at any time. Okay, it can happen when the students or even our kids engage with learning materials. For example, just capture this at Petro Science Kuala Lumpur. The students visit the museums and they can learn for what happened during the dinosaurs era, or while playing, right? Role playing. This is example from Kidzania Kuala Lumpur, where the students learn to be firemen, they learn to be hairdresser and a lot of other roles, and they are learning through playing. So with that, I will end my presentation, and if you have any question, I'll be happy to share with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Farah, for your explanation. In your attractive presentation, I can highlight that as the educator, we should be ready in infra and in infrastructure such as LMS or e-learning platform, then developing professional development, not only for lecturers, but also for the students and support staffs, such as giving online teaching and learning trainings, and also giving the training how to use the equipments for the staff. Furthermore, we need to expand our learning horizon. Thank you for Dr. Farah. And now we come to the question and answer session. If you have a question, you can raise your hand to ask directly to both of the presenters, or you can type your question on the chat. Okay. Well, we are waiting for the question. There are a question. Go to Dr. Farah from Angelique Patricia from Winantasari Banjarmasin. She asked about teach early childhood in Malaysia, how to teach the early childhood in Malaysia, and she wants to know about the aspects to consider for teaching in childhood school. Yeah, maybe you can share how to teach the childhood in Malaysia.
Okay, thank you so much to the person who asked. So I think that early childhood education is very important, and I think that there's not so much difference between what is happening in Malaysia and also in Indonesia, in fact in the whole world, right? So I think one important aspect that we have to look into, and I'm talking about the pedagogical approach with early childhood learners, is that learning by playing. We recognize that they are still kids, they love to learn. So as teachers, we should try to accommodate their needs. Some kindergartners are happy learning while they are at kindergartens, but once they enter school, like for example, year 1, up to secondary school, the learning has become like a burden to them. It's like they are no fun in learning anymore. It's like learning has stopped. The fun has stopped when they enter primary school. And this is not supposed to be that way. And I think we as educators should try in any way to encourage learning by playing at all levels. And I'm talking about higher education. Even at higher education, at university, we can still encourage the learning by playing. For example, by integrating gamification, okay, in our teaching and learning approach. Other than that, I think we can also try to have pedagogical approaches that are inclusive, okay, and accommodate all the senses, okay, the sensory and also smell, the sights, okay, all these are actually the concept of Montessori education, and this can also applicable at higher education level, not just at early childhood learning. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. A question more from Bapak Rusnadi Ali Kasan. In response to expanding learning horizon, how effective is using authentic materials for both teacher and students, and how can we make the process they have are meaningful? Yeah, how effective is using authentic materials for both teacher and students, and how can we make the processes they have are meaningful?
Thank you for the question. I think this is an excellent question, and I hope I can answer that within my knowledge. Okay. First of all, authentic learning is one of the pedagogical approaches that is so powerful because it connects the students with the reality or the real world. As I mentioned just now, learning should not stop within the four walls of our classroom. Okay? It has to be expanded within or beyond the classrooms, and we can emphasize the informal and non-formal learning. So I think that the more we try to connect whatever we teach in classrooms with the real world, it is going to be better. However, one thing that I think is make a difference is that it has to be guided learning. Okay, you cannot just ask the students to For example, going to an exhibition at a museum without any instructions or any guidance. You have to tell them first what is the purpose of going there, and second, what are the things that they need to do. Make a task, a list of tasks for them, or a challenge, or like a game, a mystery for them to solve using the exhibits that they see in the museum. So after that, it is very important to have whole class reflection of the learning experience. Otherwise, it's just sightseeing. There is no learning in there. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next question for Bapak Husnul Yakin. Today, government has provided internet quota and free smartphone, but the main problem, we are not fine yet about good evaluation formula on how to activate the students and how to improve their attitude or character and skill. Bapak.
Okay, once more, I do not listen well.
Okay, I will repeat the question. Today, government has provided internet quota and free smartphone, but the main problem, we are not fine yet about good evaluation formula on how to activate the student and how to improve their attitude or character and skill. So the question refers to a good evaluation formula. Maybe you can give a suggestion for good evaluation formula and then how to improve students' attitude because they learn from home. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Up to present, I actually do not have, I haven't got the real evaluation from the long distance education in terms of evaluating, especially the attitude and the skills. Yeah, but I think if you want to try to improve their skills and their attitude, it must be started from the preparation of our teaching. Yeah, what should be got by the student? Will they get the knowledge aspect, or will they get the attitude aspect, or will they get the practical aspect or skill aspect? That the question actually explicit written in the teaching preparation. Then we can evaluate. What I want to suggest is there should be a collaboration in mentoring, in also evaluating the achievement of the skill aspect or the attitude aspect. Yeah, we can ask the parent how the children behave in front of the parent or in family or also in society. Yeah. Does the school, the social, for example, skill alive among the student in the community? So by making the connecting book, as I said before, we can know the progress of the students' achievement in terms of especially skills and attitude. Yeah, or we also can do the door-to-door activity. Yeah, teacher does door-to-door activity, so they know what they have got from the teaching process, especially in terms of attitude and behavior. But for the knowledge, they can evaluate by testing, yeah, by providing question and so on. But for two factors, attitude and behavior and skill, so there should be collaboration. There should be communication between teachers or lecturers with the parent, yeah, with the parent at home. That's my suggestion. So we don't have the best formula up to time being, yeah. Maybe there should be, yeah, for example, the center of teaching or center of curriculum development to do evaluation and then to make the formula of how good evaluation for these two aspects. I think that's all. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bapak Husnul. Maybe Dr. Farah can get additional information, or you can share how the UM assess the students in online learning, or how to create a good assessment that is applicable for online learning?
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. I agree with Dr. Husnul, who said that there is no specific formula or the best formula to evaluate, especially attitudes. But I always think there's hope. Maybe we can think about this together. If you don't mind, Ms. Moderator, can I share a screen?
Yes, please, Doctor.
All right, so this is 3 types of engagement that people always think about cognitive aspect to engage students cognitively, but we as teachers always forgot to do the effective engagement. So I just want to mention that if we are thinking about training or teaching effective domain, we can use Krathwohl, Bloom, and Masia, who has this. I'm sure this is familiar to everyone, but I just want to highlight. This is some sort of pyramid or categories of effective behaviors that we can try to embed in our lessons. For example, to teach the kids about receiving, okay, to learn to accept others, to listen to others, to respond to others well, and to teach them to respond, to value each others, to organize, and if possible, to be morally good. I know this is not easy, but we can try to do it. Second thing, I also would like to echo what Dr. Husnu said. Perhaps one thing that we can do is to develop a rubric so that the students they know what is expected from them. And may I suggest to everyone perhaps to make the teaching and learning process a little bit more democratic or flexible. Okay, let's try to invite our students to come out with their own rubric to evaluate themselves. Will that be a good thing? Okay, I think, and I've done this, we can ask the students to come out with, it can be part of your assessment or your assignment. Let's create a rubric together. You can name the activity. Okay, ask them what do they want to be evaluated, and then guide them how they can do the scoring. So if we get buy-in from everyone that these are the values that we want to instill, or this is the attitude that we want to establish in this class, so I think it is more easier for the students to be abide by the rule that they themselves have set in. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your explanation, Dr. Farah. So the educator should prepare the rubric, so that will be a matter for the students to assess by themselves. All right. Next for Bapak Husnul, a question from Bapak Daud Yahya. As we know that the spread of the COVID-19 in South Borneo is very high. One of the reasons is the understanding regarding to the theology. For example, saying don't afraid of COVID-19, but only fear of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So some people don't have discipline like in wearing mask and so on. How for strengthening the theological education to reduce COVID-19?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Kiai M. Daud Yahya. He is our chief in Pusjibang PI, right? Okay. This is very interesting. Surely this is relating to Islamic teaching. How the community make understanding of the Islamic teaching, especially in terms of theological understanding. Yeah. So according to my opinion, there are some problems that still exist in our community, especially in theological aspect, including how to face COVID-19. You know, as we learned before that there are many ism, yeah, like Jabariyah, Qadariyah, Mu'tazilah, yeah. This is the way or the way they act to or they respond to the situation like COVID-19. Yeah. So according to my opinion, we have to refresh the understanding of our communities, knowledge about theology. So according to my opinion, if we pasrah, what we mean pasrah, if we Linda pasrah in English?
How to say pasrah?
Yeah. I mean,
Everything back to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
yeah, everything back to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So we, and then we just give to our Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Yeah. So this is like Jabariyahism. Yeah, Jabariyahism. So they don't have enough effort to prevent COVID-19. So they just give the situation to Allah. Yeah. And then they relax. they don't have effort to prevent. They don't wear masker. They don't do keeping distance from others. So the problem is about the theology, the understanding of theological teaching in Islam. And this is, I think, brought from the last period in Islamic in Islamic teaching. So this is the responsibility of the teacher of Aqidah, Akhlaq at school, and also the responsibility of the lecturer of theology in campus to refresh the community's knowledge on theological aspect. And I think it takes a long time to turn on, to turn back or to turn on their mind, from Jabariyah, for example, to Qadariyah, from Jabariyah to Mu'tazilah, from Jabariyah to Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I think that's the solution. Thank you.
So that's really hard, Bapak Husnul. Okay, and this is the last question and also the closing statement from both of the presenters. The question from Bapak Rusnadi, do you think that the COVID-19 has really caused lost generation? If so, then what are the indications and how can we solve it? Please, for the first, Ibu Farah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Moderator. There's many perspectives to that question, I think. The first one, if the person who asked was referring to the loss of life, yes, the answer will be yes. We have lost a lot of generations, not just one generation due to COVID-19. But if we look into loss of, what can I say? If you look at the positive aspect of it, we still have not lost that much. I also like to again highlight that even though we are losing at one point, we are still winning, or we still have good hope at another side. And I have touched this on the presentation. If possible, Ms. Moderator, can I share some insights of the previous question, if that's okay with you?
Yes, please, Doctor.
Okay. So while Dr. Husnul was talking, I tried to Google, and then I found this quotation, which is, I think it's interesting. Sorry, I have taken control of your screen now. So this is what we know, that Allah will not change a person's or a situation if that person do not take actions to it. Okay, and because of that, may I share with you maybe one thing that we can teach the generation is not to be too too selfish. If you look at the screen now, and you type civic-minded instructional designers and look at the slide, I'm sorry, at the right side of it, what we are saying is that tell the students or tell the people that whatever he or she is doing impact not just the person's life, but also the community, and also the nation at large. And sometimes it affects the global situation as well. So that's why if you're thinking of teaching how to change them, you may want to think about the, if I can mention, but this is not like a promotion, but I'm just sharing with you that we need to develop 4 aspects in them. Okay, the first one is the belief that they are agents of social change. Sorry, I can't make it bigger. It's just so small, but if you can type it in your laptop, you will find it. And that we are entrusted with our knowledge and skills to help people in our society. Second is the knowledge of the social issues surrounding their areas, for example, in their village and the community, okay, so that they can act upon it. And third is the developing the skills that they need to help people solve their problem. And fourth is the dispositions or the attitude. And we have to instill the public spiritedness, meaning that we are, as professionals trained in higher education, or if we are teachers, we owe the society, we owe the public. We need to help them with knowledge and skills that we have been taught. So I think that if we have these all 4 qualities, inshallah, we can change the perception of the person. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Farah. Continue with Dr. Husnul Yakin.
Yes.
As the closing statements, do you think that the COVID-19 has really caused a lost generation, and how can we solve it?
First, I would say that I agree with Dr. Farah Diana's opinion. And in relating to this question, my simple answer is it depends on how we respond the situation. So it depends on how we respond the situation. Yeah. When we know that this is a musibah, a musibah for our God, then we try to prevent. Yeah, we try to solve this problem, and then we try to explore the causes and the knowledge how to solve. As we know, we conduct the seminar. This is one kind of how to solve this problem. Then I'm sure that we will not lose our generation for the next time. Yeah, but if we just stay at home, we don't have effort, we don't discuss how to solve this problem, of course, I think this will happen. So again, it depends on how we respond this COVID-19 pandemic situation. That's my conclusion. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Husnul. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the presentation session. The things that I can highlight from the presentation that we should be optimistic in facing COVID-19 pandemic, and also we need to collaborate. The collaboration between schools, teachers, and parents to be together in winning this pandemic. Once more, on behalf of the Center of Research and Development on Islamic Education, Tarbiyah and Teacher Training Faculty Winasari Banjarmasin, I would like to say thank you very much for Dr. Farah Dina from University of Malaya, and also Dr. Husnul Yakin as the presenter today. See you on the next occasion. I will turn the next session to Ibu Ika Irayana. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, Amin. We have finished our webinar today. Thank you very much for all the speakers, Prof. Chandra, Prof. Dr. Farah, and Dr. Husnul for providing materials for us, and it's very useful for us, inshallah. And also we want to thank to Ibu Afifah Hindasari for moderating this forum today and engaging us in a very exciting discussion. Also, thank you for all participants who follow this webinar until the end, not just waiting for the link of absency. Thank you very much. Finally, I am Ika Iraina, on behalf of the Center of Research and Development on Islamic Education, Tarbiyah and Pusran Faculty or Pusdibang PI. Wishing you all a wonderful Wednesday, and we will hope that we can see in the next event. Thank you very much for all your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Pak Husnul.
Yes, thank you,
Dr.
thank you.
Farah.
Everyone, thank you, organizer.
Thank you, Dr. Farah. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Snow. I learned a lot from you.
Yeah, same. I learned a lot from you, and we will meet in Malaysia, right? Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
Thank you, Dr. Farah.
Should we leave the session?
Echo, Dr. Farah. Thank you.